We have exclusive details on conversations and where the two are when it comes to these lawsuits. We were told by sources very close to the situation that, in fact, merger talks are not dead between the Mountain West and the Pac-12, that conversations have continued through the negotiating table and through the process of these poaching fees. And as we've talked about, it didn't make a lot of sense for the Pac-12 to file these lawsuits and try to get out of paying these poaching fees with the idea that they were actually going to go to court and fight the contract that says, hey, we've got to pay poaching fees. We've been telling you for several weeks now that our sources have said that's a lever that the Pac-12 is pulling to ultimately get their desired outcome. Now, as far as merger talks go, I am told that they have not sat at a table and negotiated, here's how we're going to merge. But back channel and relationally, the Pac-12 and the Mountain West have continued to talk about what would it take for a merger to happen. And the main reason that they are doing this is because neither the Pac-12 nor the Mountain West has found the numbers that they are looking for when they have been out in the marketplace negotiating a new TV deal. The Pac-12 in particular, I was told point blank yesterday, has struggled to eclipse at the top end of a TV deal, $8 million per school per year. It is a number that does significant damage to the viability of the Pac-12 moving forward. If they cannot get to that magical $10 million number, which is what most people believe they need to be sustainable, the Pac-12 is going to have a very difficult time being a viable G5 conference. Their only route to survival at that point would be merging with the Mountain West. And interestingly enough, people we have spoken to in the TV industry have made it very clear. As a combined property, the Pac-12 and the Mountain West, if they were to merge under the Pac-12 umbrella, would be north of $10 million. I've heard estimates as much as $12 to $15 million if they were to merge into one entity. This makes too much sense. It is why I believe the only option for these two is to ultimately merge at the end of the day. But Jake, do you believe it ever happens?
Yeah, I have a lot of trouble believing it ever happens because of the pride of the leadership in the Pac-12. We obviously saw that these two had been down this road where they had a scheduling alliance and there were agreements signed, and obviously the Pac-12 chose to go about it the way they did, where they poached teams and broke it off and wanted to create their own conference and burn some bridges through that process. So, does it ever happen? I would say, just based on my opinion of the situation, I would be a little bit surprised. Does it need to happen? Yes, absolutely. It needs to happen because these two are never going to thrive and never going to get to a great place financially unless they can come up with a better value proposition for the TV partners and just in the bigger picture. And when you look at what these two could offer if they were to merge together, it is a substantially more valuable package than if they're separated. So the hard part is like, when you think about merging, like one of the big things that everyone always points to is like, okay, well, who would run this new Mountain West Pac-12 merged conference? How would leadership look? And I think that was one of the sticking points of the last time that they tried to merge, with the scheduling alliance and everything. Gloria Nevarez was in control, leading the whole situation, helping everybody get done what they needed to get done. And I think it made Teresa Gould and company in the Pac-12 uncomfortable because I don't understand the strategy of, hey, we're going to say we're going to do one thing, but then we're going to go ahead and make this quick right turn and try to poach all your teams and do our own thing. And what was the end game at your current level? Because it would be different if the Pac-12 through that thought process had the goal of being a power conference again. But we all know that that's not going to happen. So does it ever happen? Do they merge? I would be surprised. I would. I do think they're going to talk about it. I do think they're going to continue to work on it. But I just think it's going to be difficult when you have leadership in the Pac-12 operating the way they do.
Well, I also think that it has to happen because these two leagues will not survive. And we have put a lot of effort into this story this week. And I can tell you that the Pac-12 does not have a laundry list. They do not have a lot of options when it comes to making a TV deal. I will continue to tell you their best linear TV partner, and really their only linear TV partner right now, is the CW, who has said and signaled repeatedly that they are open to continuing their relationship on a regional basis, not on a national basis, but as a West Coast entity. They are very happy to continue their relationship with the Pac-12. The problem for the Pac-12 is they're not going to end up on ESPN. They're not going to end up on Fox. I continue to be told that Gloria Nevarez has an excellent relationship with her TV partners. I continue to be told that CBS Sports Network and Fox through FS1 has an appetite and has said that they will continue and would like to continue their relationship with the Mountain West. At what degree and at what financial level that happens is yet to be seen, because as we've reported exclusively on this show, Gloria Nevarez is in significantly advanced talks for a new TV deal that is, in my opinion, important that she bring that home in Q1. I believe that the Mountain West has to continue to beat the Pac-12 to all of these landmarks. And if the Pac-12 is able to land a TV deal, and again, my sources are telling me the likely TV deal for the Pac-12 is most of their tier 2 games will be on CW. I believe that there is an avenue where their biggest matchup will be on TNT in a nighttime West Coast primetime window. And I think the remaining part of their package, which, call that what you will, their least desirable matchups, however you grade that. Don't get upset. I'm not going to name names and be like, oh, Fresno State every week is going to be.
You said Fresno State was terrible.
Take it easy. Their least desirable matchups, I think, will be stream only. And I think that I was trying to get an answer about this fast channel that I have heard about with the Pac-12. And I continue to be told that a fast channel for their secondary sports in the Pac-12, stick and ball sports, track and field, swimming, volleyball, a lot of that could end up on a fast channel. And I understand that. You're losing money. We have a Utah story that will tell you about. Utah made a financial release that paints a very dire picture for the exiting 10 members of the Pac-12 as far as finances go in 2024. But if you put your secondary sports on a fast channel, that's a revenue stream. To what degree and to how many millions, I have no idea. Probably not much, but some is better than nothing. But all anybody cares about is, where is our biggest game of the week? And I think if you're the Pac-12, your best opportunity is TNT and the CW for linear TV. I don't see any way, shape, or form that CBS. I have been told repeatedly ESPN and Fox are not going to be in business with the Pac-12 at this point.
Yeah, and that's why I say, like, they should merge. I completely agree. I mean, you should merge. It's the right thing to do. Like, it would be better for everybody involved. But I don't know that both sides want to actually do that. I think that the Pac-12 is, again, and this is kind of right up the alley of where Florida State kind of was with things. Like, you're the stubborn kid in the room that thinks you're better than everybody and should be paid more than everybody, and you won't fall in line. You won't play nice in the sandbox. Yeah. And that's the hard part, is like, you talk about the Mountain West beating the Pac-12 to all these sort of kind of like benchmarks in the timeline. And they are. And again, I'm not sitting here saying like everyone always rips us for saying the Mountain West is in a better position, as if we're saying the Mountain West has like better brands, or like,
even that we're like, saying that the Pac-12 sucks, which we're not saying
like
that.
What we're saying is that right now, as it's currently situated, the Pac-12 just is not in a reliable position.
They are not financially sound as a business entity. The Pac-12 in its current incarnation and where they are before a TV deal, before these lawsuits are settled, The Pac-12 is not on sound financial ground.
Yeah.
That is what this is about. And we can sit here and we can talk about, hey, you guys have always hated the Pac-12. Okay, if that makes you sleep well at night, great. The truth is not even in discussion here. They're not on financial ground. And the first thing that every Pac-12 fan says is, well, neither is the Mountain West. The Mountain West is in a far better financial position than the Pac-12 is. The Pac-12 financially, and again, let this sink in. The Pac-12 financially has thrown multiple Hail Marys up, and they've got to complete them all. They've got to win the Pac-12 poaching lawsuit. They've got to win the exit fee lawsuit with the exiting members of the Mountain West who are going to the Pac-12, suing the Mountain West to get out of entry fees. And when I say they have to win, they can't simply negotiate those fees down. Because remember what we're talking about contractually with Boise State. Boise State has an agreement with the Pac-12 to get significantly more revenue than they were getting in the Mountain West. And then other members of the Pac-12, this reimagined Pac-12, are going to get. If you do not win that poaching lawsuit, if you do not win those exit fee lawsuits, there is not significantly more money to give to Boise State. That's what is at stake here. So if you get a deal in media rights that's $6 million a year, I think 8 is the absolute maximum. If you wind up somewhere with a TNT, you could push $8 million a year. But here's the problem. Most people believe a new deal for the Mountain West will be $8 million a year. That's $8 million per school per year in a media rights distribution deal. That's not a windfall for the Pac-12. And furthermore, that's not a significantly better position for, I don't know, UNLV, who you in the Pac-12 believe you're trying to get. That's not enough to move UNLV to say, yeah, we're out. We're going to go to court and spend millions of dollars, multi-millions of dollars on a legal fight
That you don't have.
That you don't have. That's a great point. To try and get out of a contract we just signed with the Mountain West.
Doesn't make any sense.
Math is not hard here. It doesn't make financial sense. And when people in the Pac-12, and I get it, you guys are passionate about your brand. I totally understand that. Take that passion out of it and look at it from an analytical business standpoint. It makes very little financial sense for the Pac-12 going forward. It is a very steep hill to climb. And the math does not add up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The math does not add up unless you get $10 million per year per school and you win. If you get $10 million per year per school, this is where you are in the Pac-12. If you get $10 million per year per school in the Pac-12, you can afford to negotiate the poaching fees and the exit fees. You can try to pay less because now you're getting $10 million per school in your new media rights deal. That'll offset the losses to a certain extent. If you get 8, and certainly if you get 6, you have no choice but to go all in and try and win 0 poaching fees, 0 exit fees.
Right.
That's the only way it's viable.
Which, again, I just think that the whole concept of winning the poaching fee thing is futile because there's case precedent for days about, hey, like this is basic contract law. Contract said this, you signed it. Like we've been over that part of the conversation. So
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. When you really boil it down and you put yourself in Teresa Gould's shoes and that whole team, trying to figure out what they're going to do. It's not realistic. It's not viable to think that you're going to go out and win all these cases and you're going to decimate the Mountain West. That's just not. To
that point, I'm really glad you said that.
I'm really glad that I said it too.
Yeah, you don't say many smart things.
I know.
Read the comment section, although somebody said you were sexy the other day.
Well,
in the comment section. Anyway, here nor there. That's a lie. You're not attractive at all. Think about it this way. Who are you pissing off if you're Teresa Gould, you're the commissioner of the Pac-12.
Yeah.
You're out negotiating TV deals. Who are you really pissing off when you poach teams from the Mountain West? Think about it. CBS, Fox, their TV partners, their media rights partners in the Mountain West are the exact same partners you're trying to do a deal with. And so when you think about the relationship that Gloria Navarro as the commissioner of the Mountain West has, and again, Pac-12 fans will tell you for days, nobody likes her. I can tell you across the board, and I talk to television and media sources
daily.
She is universally respected. Gloria Navarro is universally respected by just about everybody I've spoken to.
Well, and I think if you stop there and you think about why that is, like look at what's taken place here. Who was the one that rocked the boat? Who was the one that caused all these issues and all these lawsuits and all this drama? Well, it wasn't Gloria Navarro. Gloria Navarro was the person saying, "Hey, look, like we understand everyone left the Pac-12 and that put Washington State and Oregon State in a pretty tough situation. So you can link up with us and we'll help you with that scheduling alliance. And, you're going to have to sign some agreements saying you're not going to poach our teams and stuff and not going to wreck this conference. But yeah, we're happy to help you." And this is the conversation I feel like we have a lot in sports, not even just in football, but like the nice guy is always the one that seemingly, gets taken advantage of. And so the problem is, I feel like, and this is my opinion, and I'm sure Pac-12 person will disagree. I feel like when Gloria did that deal initially for the scheduling alliance, she knew what was probably going to happen. She knew that, hey, this is Pac-12 leadership. Their conference is in the position it is because, they're obviously just not great at running the conference from a financial standpoint. And now they want to go ahead and get a scheduling alliance going with us. But what if their real intention is to poach these teams and try to reboot the conference? You can't tell me that she wasn't thinking about that, which is why everyone had to sign contracts and she made that as ironclad as she did.
And I did a guest appearance with Cofield and Company in Las Vegas yesterday. And Steve Cofield made the exact same point that I made a month ago. Where did Gloria Navarro come from? Well, she came from the Pac-10, where she was co-workers with all of the same people who are running the Pac-10, Pac-12, Pac-2. Her and Teresa Gould are not strangers. They know each other quite well. They have spent time together a lot. And when you look at Gloria Navarro's track record, she is familiar with how they do business. She worked at UC Berkeley. She worked in the Pac-10 office at the time. I think it was the Pac-10.
Yeah.
Like you look at their track records, these are not strangers. This world that we're talking about is tiny. All of these people know each other. And so when you're talking about Gloria Navarro and Teresa Gould and how did this scheduling alliance come about, those are long-time relationships where you said, yes, I'm willing to, here's an olive branch, let us help you, here's a scheduling alliance. But don't steal our members. And if you do, you got to pay huge fees for that.
And then what did they do? They went and stole the members, and now they don't want to pay the fee. And so when you talk about whether they should merge or not, and this whole situation progressing, they should merge. That's the right business thing to do. You know, if this was, two small businesses, trying to accomplish the same goal, they already would have merged. We wouldn't even be in court. But the problem is that the Pac-12 is not trying to accomplish the same thing as the Mountain West. And so we find ourselves in this position where, once again, the Pac-12 as a conference doesn't have enough money to do what it needs to do. Once again, the Pac-12 is going to have to, buy, beg, and steal its way to existence again. And I grow tired and fatigued on this concept of, hey, we want to pillage other people's conferences to remake our own. Like, at some point it needs to be, hey, you know what? Like, our conference didn't work out and we're Oregon State and Washington State. Maybe we should do everything we can do to find a more reliable position for ourselves, whether that is joining the Mountain West or working with Brett Yormark to try to put something together, in the next couple of seasons to join the Big 12. But we all know the Big 12 is pretty happy with its current setup. Like, that's where this comes from. Desperation.
And I would also tell you a an administrator, a college administrator, pointed something out to me that I had never thought about. Who's responsible for the Pac-12 being in Las Vegas? Who brought the Pac-12 championships to Las Vegas? Gloria Nevarez. Who's moving the Mountain West to Las Vegas? Gloria Nevarez. Who is intimately familiar how business gets done in that town? Gloria Nevarez. Who at the Pac-10 in her time there, what was she in charge of? Well, women's sports and championship activities. Like, this is a lady who knows how to operate. She understands relationships at the political level. She understands relationships at the broadcast level and at the administration level at college institutions. This is the one who should be running the conference.
Yes.
And I think, and I've not confirmed this through multiple sources, but I've heard more than once, the reason that this is not a single entity today is because the Pac-12 didn't want Gloria Nevarez to have control of the conference. If they would have all signed off on Gloria Nevarez being the commissioner of this new reimagined Pac-12, this would have been done already, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
But again, you didn't want that. And my question is, what I think is hilarious is the Pac-12, even today, is sitting here saying that somehow they're not comfortable with Gloria Nevarez running the conference, or this super conference, if you will, this merged together conference. Yet you're the same people who ran the Pac-12 into the ground.
Yeah.
And I just think when you talk about relationships and how these negotiations impact other eyeballs in the room, like if you imagine a room and Gloria Nevarez and Teresa Gould are at the the table, they're sitting at the table negotiating, but over in this corner you've got TV executives, over in this corner you've got prospective schools that would look at joining this conference at some point. You've got Calford over in this corner thinking, damn, we should have helped put this conference together. Like everybody in the room is watching this go down, and the Pac-12 just continues to make itself look foolish. And that's why I say the day that arrives where the Pac-12 just says, you know what, we tried, we're not going to be able to reboot the conference, and we need to work with Gloria to get this done, it's going to be a much better day for everybody involved.
And this has been going on for 2 years. This same exact conversation about the Mountain West and the Pac-12 has been going on for 2 years, since really, if you think about it, it's essentially unchanged. They're both lacking stability. And it's because, and directly attributed to, the actions of the Pac-12. And you've got to, at some point, if you're the Pac-12 and you want to survive, at some point you're going to have to bite the bullet and recognize you have not been able to do it on your own. You have, in my opinion, and I don't know that this will be popular or not popular, but do you understand how much of a victim Oregon State is here?
Yeah. That's the hard part.
Do you get how much insertion has happened?
Do you understand how
Oregon
good,
State?
Bro, do you understand how good Oregon State was before the Pac-12 melted down? That was a team that you didn't want to go there. You didn't want to go to Reser. You didn't want to go and play that game. That was not a game the best teams in the Pac-12 wanted to go and play because they knew it was extremely difficult to win. And now, through no fault of their own, they're here. And I think the hard part is, Oregon State is a cautionary tale. At some point, you're going to have to, as an athletic department, you're going to have to make more money than just enough to pay the bills. You can't be, paycheck to paycheck as an athletic department forever. You have to, at some point, run your athletic department, in the green, if you will, in a place where you have a surplus, you're making money, and you can build up your coffers. And that's what I struggle with so much. When you look at the Pac-12 and the Mountain West, I disagree with the idea that the Mountain West is somehow on shaky ground and the conference could melt down. I disagree with that.
If they lose UNLV.
But they won't. And the reason they won't is because UNLV, their fear of the unknown in the Pac-12 is greater than their fear of staying in the Mountain West. They're not going to leave the Mountain West, and the guaranteed money they've got coming in on this current deal and the one she's negotiating to go to the Pac-12 to fight the legal battle, to spend money they don't have, to do exactly what?
Yeah, and I
Like-
think UNLV is one thing that UNLV is very business savvy. Whatever you want to say about them on the court and the field and whatever, that's a pretty well understood business university. And you look at the market in Las Vegas. I was looking at market analysis numbers because everybody comes on the show and just rips Las Vegas, and I truly don't get it. And I understand. Maybe maybe the comment section's right. I'm just stupid. That could totally be.
Well,
maybe all that creatine I take is actually having the reverse effect, right? Have you guys taken any time at all to understand that Las Vegas and Clark County, Nevada, just Clark County, Nevada and Las Vegas, is now the market size of San Diego? San Diego's population flatline. Clark County and Las Vegas, they're on the precipice of breaking 3 million residents. I mean, put that in your mind. And no matter where you're listening to this show, the city of Las Vegas was, what did we joke about? It was sex and gambling.
yeah.
One building in the middle of a sand pile. It was essentially some dude went to the beach and built a sandcastle and put casinos and a bunch of hookers in there. And that's what Las Vegas was, with a bunch of mobsters running it. It's now a metropolis of almost 3 million people, which they will surpass this year.
Yeah.
They are now a more significant market than San Diego, California. That's the level. And we talked about Fresno State yesterday. And JC lost his mind over it. And do you guys understand? I was looking at population numbers. Do you understand the devastation that is taking place in the Central Valley of California? The shrinkage of humanity. And the other thing about this is with the geopolitical situation and migrant workers, and those people don't even get counted in the census. And you're still seeing a significant shrink in the Central Valley of California.
Yeah.
And where are all those people going? They're going to the state of Nevada because the entire state is growing. But a lot of people are going to Clark County and Las Vegas.
Yeah, I just think, like, if we do a quick sidebar here on what people are experiencing right now in the country, like just in their day to day, I think people want a little bit more affordable lifestyle. People are a little bit burnt on man, everything costs like $5 for gas, like groceries are super expensive. Like
we were looking at houses in Summerlin the other week when we were at CES, which was almost a month ago.
Which is wild.
When we were at CES, we were playing golf in Las Vegas.
By the way, Royal Golf Club in Las Vegas, 10 of 10.
Yes, loved it. Housing prices are not cheap.
Yeah.
All of this to say, what is so difficult if you are Boise, Fresno, Colorado State, San Diego State? If you are, and I'm guessing that you left the graphic in here, but if you are anybody on this list,
yeah,
how come you can't math this out? Pull out the calculator, bruh. The numbers don't add up. If they do not win that poaching lawsuit, and if they do not win and not settle, if they do not win outright and don't have to pay poaching fees, the Pac-12 is going to be financially strapped.
Back to the envelope calculations.
The Pythagorean theorem is just not on your side, my guy.
I couldn't agree more. And again, I just want to keep pointing this out. Who the hell are we talking about here, man? Like, you're famous on the show for saying past behavior is the best determinant for future behavior.
Outcome. Your past action is the best indicator of future activity.
So if that's the case, which I agree it is the case, then why are we surprised that, one, the Pac-12 melted down, one, two, the Pac-12 behaved the way they did with the Mountain West, And 3, the Pac-12 is struggling to put A plus B equals C together.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like people are surprised somehow that the Pac-12 is struggling to get a TV deal. People are surprised that somehow, TV companies are not just jumping for joy and just at the feet of the Pac-12 leadership looking to give them gobs of money. Like, with all due respect, you can't go and, burn your neighbor's house down or attempt to, and then go to the other neighbor and say, hey, we're ready. We got all the furniture and everything, but, to get that, we had to burn this house down. Like, that's not how it works, dude. That's not like, it's not like CBS is excited to work with you after you did that.
Yeah.
And I think we don't get access to a lot of those conversations and a lot of that sentiment. But I'm just telling you, like, if you just follow the behavior and the things that are going on and not going on, it tells you everything you need to know. So with all due respect, like, San Diego, from a things to do standpoint, is a great market. The beach, the lifestyle. It is expensive though. Las Vegas, I probably personally, just for me, wouldn't want to live in Las Vegas, but that doesn't mean that the people in California who are leaving the state wouldn't want to, and we're seeing that take place. So forgive me for sitting here being like, yeah, I don't think UNLV's trying to change its position. Every school in college football, every school that's got an athletic department is always going to have the conversation about, hey, how can we be more profitable? How can we be in a better spot?
Every school in every conference is having. We're going to talk about Utah's budget here in a minute, but wind the clocks back.
Yeah. Like,
why did USC and UCLA make that faithful decision?
Let's wind the clocks back a year
or 5. Why did USC and UCLA leave the Pac-12?
Right.
Which I'm going to say again, there's no reason that the old Pac-12 does not exist, other than the reason that USC and UCLA ultimately left that conference. Because of poor leadership.
And again, and I think it's really crucial to point this out in today's conversation, because it's a great point. How did that go down? Hey, I'm going to tell you one thing, and then I'm going to go and do another thing, which is
behind
exactly
your back
what
without
happened.
anybody knowing it.
Yeah.
So you didn't have, and this was the Larry Scott, George Kliavkoff problem. They didn't have relationships across the conference. Why can Gloria Nevarez so confidently say that she and UNLV are under contract? Because she's got relationships on that campus with those people, on every campus. And listen, I will just go back. I don't blame USC and UCLA for leaving the conference. And most people are going to tell you that they destroyed the Pac-12. Larry Scott destroyed the Pac-12. George Kliavkoff destroyed the Pac-12. The idiot radio wizard jerk-off in the Northwest facilitating Larry Scott and facilitating lies and back-of-the-envelope calculation BS burned down the Pac-12.
Facts.
The media that deep-throated everything that came out of George Kliavkoff burned down the Pac-12. Those are the people you hold accountable with their graphics and their BS. Those are the people that burned down the Pac-12. The truth sayers, the people who were calling George Kliavkoff's BS when he was saying that $50 million a year is what each school is worth, you're out your goddamn mind.
Facts.
This conference was never worth $50 million per school. Does that mean it sucked? No. Does that mean that it was a terrible conference? No. It means you have done business poorly from the minute that you launched that conference, and it continues today with Teresa Gould.
And the sad part is now because yesterday on the show, for those of you who weren't here, the story with ESPN, accepting their option to extend with the ACC happened. So when that happened, and then having this conversation today, I'm sitting here thinking like, gosh, you had such an opportunity 4 years ago with ESPN and everybody in the landscape to position yourself right above the ACC. If you had just said, hey, the ACC is getting whatever they're getting, 25 mil a year, I think it is, or whatever the number is. Hey, we'll take 30. Give us 30 a school and we're good to go. Like,
give us Give us
It's incredible.
$350, $400 million a year in media rights deal. And ESPN, I think ESPN had just had enough with George Kliavkoff. And we reported exclusively on this show, and it's been confirmed a million times. Go look at it.
Yep.
They capped it at $100 million a year because of the obscene. Do you guys understand that there were reports about the offers being exchanged between the Pac-12 and ESPN? And they were hundreds of millions of dollars apart.
Yeah.
Like just ridiculous, embarrassing, obscene numbers. To the point where ESPN was like,
and I think
what are we going to do with this?
Like, imagine George Kliavkoff and, I don't know, Jimmy Pitaro at ESPN on the phone. And George is like, yeah, we want 500 million, right? 50 a school. And Jimmy's sitting there as the guy who talks to conferences all day long, talks to different sports leagues. Like, he's the guy that has this conversation over and over and over.
Do you understand that Bob Iger was personally involved in that situation?
Right. So Bob Iger, Jimmy, like all these guys who do this for a living are sitting here listening to this yapping dog known as George Kliavkoff say these ridiculous numbers, and they damn well know it's probably only worth 35 at the top end. And so it puts people in a position, and this is my point about the Pac-12 and the bigger picture. It puts people in a position to not only disagree with you, but to think lesser of you. If you go to a negotiating table and you're miles away from where you should be, you're not going to be respected. There's something to, like, hey, if George knows that, the conference is probably worth $350 a year, 35 a school, but he asked for 40 and then they kind of settled like 37 and a half or whatever, that's a respectable negotiation. That's a fine starting place.
You can't go to your TV partners, because ultimately, as again, and I only say this to tell you, I feel like we have been nails on this. Who told you that Fox and ESPN were out?
Mm-hmm.
We did. And you go find me the report that says that Fox and ESPN are talking to the Pac-12 today, right now. Because I'm telling you, they're not.
Yeah.
And I understand that Pac-12 fan believes that. I'm telling you.
Well, and look at what Fox just did, right? Fox just did the live deal, right? Like, Fox is doing deals.
But they're not. I'm telling you. It goes back to the idea of, hey, we're because I was told at one point the maximum offer ESPN ever tabled was $30 million a year per $300 million.
Yeah.
The counter was $500 million. Imagine going to your TV partner who you were partners with and saying, we're going to need 20 million more per school. We're going to need $200 million more a year.
It's crazy. Imagine, let me put it this way. So with that being said, imagine you went to a conference to form a partnership, and you two-faced them. At the front end of the negotiation, you said, no, we're not going to poach your schools. But then on the back end of that negotiation, you poached all their best brands. What do you think is good? Like, did you think that was going to help you get a TV deal done?
No, I want people to go back and think, but ESPN wanted to do business with you.
Yeah. And now that's all over with.
They wanted Pac-12 After Dark. They wanted that window. You pissed them off so much that they went back to Sports Center instead of your games. Which, and in my opinion, you know who really benefited from that? The Big 12.
Yeah.
The Big 12 got a TV deal that secured the future of the conference. And you know who else benefited from that? BYU. Because in my opinion, BYU doesn't get into the Big 12 without ESPN.
Yeah, which led to Utah getting into the Big 12 and Colorado getting into the Big 12. And
I
Arizona
wholeheartedly
schools.
agree.
Like, it was a snowball effect. So that's what I'm saying. Like, not to get too lost in the sauce of the history here, but when you look at it, it's kind of hard to ignore, hey, like, your idiotic negotiations to try to save the conference initially. I see the same stripes, here in this negotiation, which is why I say, with all due respect, Anybody saying that UNLV is just going to up and leave the Mountain West for what this Pac-12 conference is offering, I just wholeheartedly disagree.
Yeah.
Mainly because I just don't think there's any future there.
And the last thing I want to say, I had a long talk with a well-known San Diego State alum. And San Diego State alumni are as unhappy, restless as they have ever been. And I think reality is setting in at San Diego State. Because I reached out to this particular person because I said, hey, I'm looking at these population numbers. What is this doing to San Diego State as a university, as a business entity that works to educate people? And it's a really good point. It's decimating the UC system.
People
it's
leaving the
decimating.
state?
Yes. The population numbers like UC San Diego State, like it's decimated. Southern California is not San Diego.
Right.
When you say SoCal, that's LA and Orange County. San Diego is its own little thing, and they are struggling. It is expensive. It's a tough way of life right now.
Yeah.
And I think San Diego, specifically San Diego State alums, are really restless and really angry, and I think really understanding that you're looking at your future and it's not bright.
Yeah.
It's San Diego State, and I would say the same thing about Fresno State. That dimming light is terrifying because you don't know what the future holds. If you're UC Berkeley, Stanford, if you're UCLA, USC, dude, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
You're always going to be fine.
Stanford's more than fine. They're getting paid.
You're more than fine. You look at Mick Cronin. Did you guys see Mick Cronin? I know I said this yesterday too, but Mick Cronin, the basketball coach at UCLA, talking about the arrogance of the Big Ten because the heavyweights in the Big Ten are bitching about having to come to Los Angeles one time a year in the winter when it's 70 degrees and sunny. And Mick Cronin's got to take his boys back east 4 times a year. And you're telling me that Memphis is going to do that?
No, hell no.
You're telling me that USF is going to do that? Tulane's going to do that? 4 times a year, you got to go fly to LA. And I'm sorry. It's not LA. You got to fly to Corvallis, Oregon. You got to fly to the Palouse. You got to go to Fresno. You got to go to, you're out of your mind, man. They're not going to do that. And why would you? Why would you?
Yeah.
All right. Enough of us, more of you. Yes, I am incredibly passionate about this.
Hey, you should be. I think I do think it's one of the saddest stories in college football.
We should not be here.
Yeah.
The Pac-12 in its last year of existence, in my opinion, was arguably the second best football conference in the country.
Yeah.
And you just vaporized that because you wanted $50 million a year and you wouldn't take streaming.
Pride.
Even at the end of the day, when you weren't going to get a linear deal, they by some people's opinions had $35 to $40 million per school. And the bulk of it was in streaming. And most of those folks are old heads and were like, yeah, I don't think so. It never should have happened. All right. The comments section is, as always, presented by our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy app in the business. You know, I don't know how I do it. I do. I'm brilliant. Just ask, Pac-12 fan. Pac-12 fan. I'm download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You'll open up a new Prize Picks account. And my phone is absolutely melting down right now. Open up a new Prize Picks account. Use the promo code Monty to do that. You deposit $5, they'll give you $50 $50 more instantly. It is the single best daily fantasy app. My phone,
What's going on?
it's just, it just won't operate. I have a brand new iPhone and it won't operate. Thanks a lot, Elon. It's not.
Do it in the next hour.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's look at my domination on Prize Picks last night. Thank you, LaDad. I would like to thank LaDad. Hey, Dad. Last night, my guy, LeBron James, on a 34.5-point number, comes through with 24, 11, and 3. That'd be 24 points, 11 dimes, and 3 rebounds. My guy.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
And then my guy, Austin Reeves, 15.5 points, more or less. More, 17. Do you see when you flex play on Prize Picks? And I need to look at I need to look at the final. Let me get the ESPN app open. The final number on Evan Mobley last night. Pimp's going pimp. Evan Mobley last night. Points, rebounds, and assists, 23.5. Stealing money. More, 16 points, 10 boards, 4 dimes. That's a 30, friends. Stealing money, 3 for 3. It's your boy banked $70 last night. And again, I will tell you, Patrick Mahomes is a free play in the Super Bowl. Never been a better time. If you've been thinking about it, if you've been on the fence, do I want a Prize Pick with old Uncle Marty? Yes, you do. Because Patrick Mahomes, you're a winner in the Super Bowl. As simple as that. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty to open up a new account. You deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more instantly. Go play a flex play, unless you live in Arizona. Go play a flex play with Patrick Mahomes and 2 other picks in the Super Bowl. Boom, you win. That means you only have to win one of those 2 because Mahomes is a yes. Take 2 more. Yes. And you're good to go. Take a Saquon Barkley touchdown and you will win. I'm here for you. Don't take Jake's advice. He's terrible at Prize Picks.
Because shit's going good.
How is Devin Booker not an all-star?